So today we're glad to have Margaret Garcia from Grit PPO joining us. She's going to be one of the presenters at our November 15th Upstate Conference coming up in Syracuse. Margaret, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, both here and in Syracuse.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. Just for a little background, how did you find your way into sort of this pest control space? And you do call center, remote call center work, and customer service. How did you find your way into all this?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the industry kind of found me. I don't know. I started in the industry about maybe 25 years ago now.
Okay.
And it's funny because you start adding to it, and the more I add to it, I'm like, am I supposed to take away? I want to sound young, right? But you want that longevity and that notoriety. But I did. I started in the industry over 20 years ago, part-time telemarketing, back when tick control was a luxury service. And I did really well because I'm a New Yorker, so I talk really fast, and I could usually get my pitch in before people would hang up the phone on me. And it really was the beginning of my career in the industry. And even though I worked really hard and I moved into other roles in the organization, from sales to service to marketing and retention, I just happened to work for a very fast-paced, high-functioning, privately owned company up here in the Northeast, a very large one. And I was very fortunate to work with owners and leaders that invested me and gave me a lot of freedom with being creative in whatever role that I had. So I've just been really fortunate to be exposed to almost every facet of working and running a pest control company.
Oh, that's awesome. So now your presentation is going to be on customer service, like specifically over the phone. Is that what I understand, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everything always led back to, in every role that I've had, customer service experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so even now, whether it's for my company or somebody else's, it's great to be a part of just that and putting a very highlighted focus on that aspect of our industry.
Yeah. Is that something in sort of the smaller and mid-sized companies? Is this something that we focus on a lot and do really well with, or is there an area for a lot of improvement?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, there's kind of old school, where there's old school and there's people still doing this, where you hire someone and, we just sit them next to somebody else and go, here, watch them do that.
Mm.
And there's a lot of emotions behind that as well. Like, I remember being a telemarketer who was, hired to kind of, make phone calls and answer the phone for people that were calling me back. And I would be sitting there like, please don't let the phone ring. Please don't let the phone ring. There's so much anxiety behind it. And I do customer service training workshops. And one of the biggest things that everybody always says is, I wish I would have had, this cheat sheet, this guidance of what to say and how to say it. Because the beauty of this industry is that so much of it is repetitive.
Mm.
So we already know what people are going to call and say. So we can therefore control what we train our people to say, and for them to be confident. And when you're confident with what you say on the phone, then conviction automatically comes out. And when conviction comes out, I mean, it's just, a recipe for success, no matter what the call scenario is.
Yeah. Now, this is just like way offhand. Are you a headset or a handset person?
Oh, really good question. I'm a little bit of both. My audio is never right because sometimes it's connected to my headset, sometimes it's connected to, the speakers. It really depends on what you're doing. But
Yeah.
I think I do ask this as well when I do workshops. I think for customer service reps, having been one, headsets are super important.
Mm.
You need to also be able to sometimes drown out what's going on around you, and really kind of stay focused. And I'm a creature that gets distracted. I distract myself, with what's going on around me. So I think headsets are super important.
Okay. And now, okay, this has put me down a whole rabbit hole of interesting questions that I want to ask you. Handwritten notes while people are talking, or right into the computer?
Right into the computer. Don't
Yeah.
work any harder than you need to. And I was trained that it was fastest fingers. So like, you might be looking at the schedule and it might be available, but if, Jackie typed faster than me and hit save, and I went to hit save and mine didn't save because hers was already booked in there, I might have to regroup with this customer on the phone. So, anytime, even as a manager, when I used to see CSRs, when they were new, writing appointments down, I'd go over and take that notebook away and go, that's not the right way to do it.
Oh my gosh. I guess there's probably introduces like another layer of potential error. If you write something down and then now you have to go back after the fact and enter it,
Yeah.
there could be some error there.
I think the data entry aspect of it, like doing it while you're in
Mm.
it, But I am a scratch pad person
Mm.
because I tend to, again, get very distracted with my surroundings. It's really a skill set to be able to stay focused and be present in a phone call. And so I do use scratch pads. Like if somebody calls in and they say, I'm having a problem with mice in the kitchen, I'll actually scratch on my notepad, mice kitchen,
Mm.
because I know the rest of, the call flow and most of the data entry should happen in the software, but I might need to come back to that little fact.
Wow. Now, your presentation up here for this event, who is it going to be most geared towards? Like, is it the manager or boss? Is it the person on the phone? Who is going to benefit most from this?
I think kind of, everyone. I think everyone would benefit, whether it's,
Mm.
managers, whether it's the frontline people. I think we're all in sales and customer service in some
Mm.
aspect. And so we're talking about this topic of just what to say and how to say it on the phone. I think it does benefit everybody because the things that we're teaching or that I'm talking about are very universal. They are things that work in any call scenario, whether it's a sales call or a customer service call, just in even how to create a more engaging experience. um, like one of my favorite topics that we'll talk about is how words are brain food,
Mm.
right? How what you say and how you say it impacts and immediately has an emotional or some type of response with the person that you're saying it to. I mean, we all know how to push the buttons of our significant others. It's kind of playing on that. You know what to say. And so it's taking that aspect and bringing it into the phone calls. So I think everybody kind of benefits from a tip, a trick, something that might work a little bit better.
Hmm. Now, do you think, in your experience, can anyone learn the skills and the what to say and what to do to be good at customer service on the phone, or is this like an area where you have to already have like a predetermined I don't know, proclivity towards something?
You definitely have to want to be in this space of just being on the phones. There's so many other aspects of it. I mean, even just being able to sit for long periods of time,
Mm.
is not for everyone. And being able to, especially in our industry, so many things right on one phone call. You're a therapist, you're a scheduler, you're a collection agency. There's so much going on, and I think it does take a certain person. I know a lot of the times in interviews we say to customer service reps like, "Why do you want to do this?" And people go, "I love helping people." I just go, no, you don't. This is different. You're gonna get yelled at. It's the helping people sometimes is also you're handcuffed, right? You can only take the scenario with that customer so far. If it's your responsibility to maybe pass that over to a different team member, so you don't get the whole satisfaction. I used to be upset sometimes that I couldn't even just leave and go out and take care of the bee's nest myself because you just want to help that person when you have a really great connection. But it does take a certain skill set of person in our industry, I think, to be able to pivot the way that you need to sometimes, to be able to be in a good mood 100% of the time, because
Mm.
that's really where this is work. Not learning the softwares, not learning biology about pests, but really being able to be in a good mood 100% of the time and to not allow maybe the emotions of one phone call into the next. And that definitely takes a certain type of person.
Yeah. So at least sound like you're in a good mood all the time, right?
Right.
Is
At
that?
least sound like it, right. You don't have, but you have to be able to, like,
Yeah.
yeah, fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Now, in this space, you have to, I'm sure, talk to people on the phone. Do you have instances where you'll hear somebody in customer service that you're working with, maybe as yourself the customer, and you go, "Oh my gosh, you're doing this all wrong." Are there like pet
Oh,
peeve things that you hear?
yeah, I teach that even to my team and to everyone else. Like, when you're putting yourself in that seat, you want to always remember what it feels like to be the customer.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like with retention, when we're talking about retention, that people that are calling to complain are usually people that want to be saved, right? Because I know myself as a consumer, I usually don't call and complain unless I already have in mind what I want out of this, right? Something at no charge, something extended, something sent to me. Otherwise, I just won't call, right? I'll
Mm.
just cancel and let it go away. And so I always bring aspects of myself, even when you're not just dealing with unhappy customers, but trying to come up with ways for your team to understand creating exceptional client experiences. I think about the little things that happen to me every day when I go get coffee and the barista kind of already hands me my cup made before I even get to the register,
Yeah.
and they call it out and they say your name, and all of those little things that make up client experiences.
Yeah. So your business, Grit PPO, do you guys do outsource call centers? Do you do training of like internal staff? Do you where's your scope of work?
It's a little bit of both. So our main core is obviously being an outsourced call support service.
Okay.
And we deal directly with, the pest control industry, tree and lawn, from that aspect of like insect and disease and wildlife. And so our call support services are mainly for enhancing operations, right? Like giving companies access to an already trained and knowledgeable team. And we handle everything from the inbound customer service call for sales and for scheduling to outbound calls, things like retention efforts, cross-selling. And then customer service training has been something that I'm so excited that the industry is talking more about, because it's what I've wanted the industry to focus more on for many, many years. And so that's something that we've now adapted into training other companies and their teams, the things that we kind of utilize as best practices.
Oh, wow. So now the event we're doing on November 15th, you're going to be here for that. But how can people get a hold of you if they had questions or wanted to talk to you directly?
You can always go to our website. It's gritppo.com, and I'm always accessible on there as well. There's a contact us form. And me via email is always just Margaret, Margaret, at gritppo.com.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you in November, Margaret.
Absolutely. Me too. Can't wait to talk about this topic.